thanks everybody for, I guess, taking the time here today to go through this course, and thanks to Jamie and the Farming Smarter team for letting me to come talk a little bit about what we have going on in John Deere with our 4R sprayers. This presentation here today, to maybe get out of the way a little bit, is going to be pretty John Deere heavy, of course. There's going to be quite a few videos that I'm going to show throughout the presentation as well. Some of them are going to seem a little salesy, but it's kind of important to focus on really the advancements and what the technology and the actual sprayer components has to offer within the program. One thing to get out of the bat right away, and this seems to happen a lot of the times when I give these presentations with questions at the end, I'm not going to be talking about prices. So if you want to know a price of a brand new sprayer or something along those lines, by all means, you can reach out to your local John Deere dealer. Or if you're a John Deere customer and you're waiting on a new SF6000 receiver, we'll be giving any updates on those as well either. So a couple of housekeeping notes to give out of the way. As Jamie mentioned, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Brent. I'm the Canadian Precision Manager with Brandt Tractor, formerly Service Equipment. I have a pretty good connection with the Farming Smarter team. Worked with them for a while on a few different projects and even worked for them for a while too. So this is kind of, I guess, you know, thick Brent on the left versus skinny Brent on the right with my time with Farming Smarter. So always excited when I could come back and give back to this group here. Here's the majority of what I'm hoping to cover here within the next, half hour or so. With these 4R sprayers, anything sprayer related, and this is more just a cultural thing for us here on the Brandt team, is we just want to make sure we do touch base on a little bit of safety things, especially when it comes to working with sprayers. I'm going to showcase a little bit of the new R4 sprayers. There's a video that gets shown in here. Like I said, the first part of it's a little bit salesy, but then we're really going to kind of go down into the meat and potatoes of what we have with the cabin controls, some general maintenance, some updates that we've had over the last little while, ExactApply technology, and then going to end sort of the presentation just with a look at See and Spray and the sort of the next wave of sprayer technology that's coming down the pipeline. So this one's really simple. Obviously, what we know when we're out working with sprayers, we need to make sure that we have the proper PPE gear and equipment, goggles, everything along those lines. Just make sure yourself and anyone that you're working with, make sure this is top of mind. I know I have lots of guys and my team out in the field, and we make sure that they're stacked up and ready to go. And I just highly, highly encourage everybody sort of to take the same focus and drive to make sure that this is a focus for you as well. So the R4 sprayers with John Deere, they've really, taken off here over the last little while, not only just because of the sprayer technology, but more the features that come with inside it. The advancement in the carbon fiber booms, the command drive, which is maybe something that someone doesn't think about, but when you're putting those long hours into a sprayer, becomes a pretty important part on a daily basis, just for overall general mental and physical health. And then go all the way down to, the in-cab technology, the boom track and the ExactApplies and the advancements that we're seeing in sprayer technology is really quite unique. So what I'm going to do is just to get everybody primed up, I'm going to go to our first video. Jamie, I can see on the screen, the audio should work. I tested earlier, but just go ahead and give me a thumbs up.
When it comes to spraying, you want to work fast so you can gain ground on the number of acres you need to cover. Yet you want a quality application job so you can gain confidence in knowing your crops are nurtured and protected. You also want to control costs through precise application of fertilizer and crop protection products so you can gain cost efficiency and profitability. And you want to gain a little something else. The chance to sit back and relax in the cab, to feel like you're putting in shorter hours, no matter how long of a day or late into the night you're working. Good news, the new John Deere 400 and 600 series sprayers can help you do just that. Let's start with the new cab. You can choose from 3 comfort and convenience packages. Go with the ultimate and get a touchscreen radio that's satellite and smartphone ready, a leather-wrapped steering wheel, footrests, a refrigerator, and an accessory rail. Upgrades, like the Active Seat 2, sense and minimize vertical movement by up to 90%. Plus, it swivels 24 degrees to the left and right. It's heated, ventilated, and even comes with a massage feature.
Immediately when they get in the cab, they'll see the updates we've made. It's a more comfortable seat. We've come out with a new seat suspension. Anything to make an operator's mobile office more enjoyable so they can focus on what's occurring in the field.
Adding to the comfort, the optional Category 4 filtration system continuously flows filtered air through the cab to help keep it clean. And you won't have any trouble hearing your hands-free phone via Bluetooth either. Visibility options include electrically adjustable heated mirrors, additional cameras, and super bright LED lighting so you can work well into the night.
Operators are looking for high-quality lighting, whether it's early in the morning, late at night.
We have 3 lighting packages that offer better visibility out to the edge of the boom.
These sprayers turn technology into application quality. Up top, the factory-installed and calibrated Starfire 6000 receiver with SF3 delivers 50% more accuracy than the Starfire 3000.
The Starfire is core to a lot of things. Auto tracking, section control, integrating with ExactApply.
Optional Auto Track Vision and Auto Track Row Sense keep the sprayer in the row, protecting crops while enabling you to apply at faster speeds. They also make the sprayer easier to operate. The optional ExactApply nozzle control system now uses boom pressure recirculation. The system optimizes application accuracy, enabling you to control droplet size, spray pressure, and individual nozzles. BoomTrack Pro 2 improves the accuracy of the boom's height by 22% compared to BoomTrack Pro. Pressure recirculation, product reclaim, and boom air purge improve cleanout, spray quality, and cost savings. These sprayers cover more ground quickly and efficiently. On the 612R and the 616R, increased horsepower delivers fast acceleration.
We have added horsepower, and with those size machines, we feel that they'll have an opportunity to get through softer conditions a little bit easier without pulling the engine down as much.
Command Drive all-wheel drive delivers power to all 4 wheels, when and where it's needed. Command Drive automatically increases RPM, but only when you need more power, say to maintain a consistent speed and spray pattern over big hills. In flat areas, Auto Mode maintains selected ground speed and application rate at lower RPM, reducing fuel and DEF consumption.
We made some changes on the chassis and the hydraulic system to make it capable of handling that power, and then coupled with the new command drive system, you don't have to worry about that loss in fuel.
These sprayers come standard with a Generation 4 Command Center display and a JD-Link connection, which streams your field and machine data from the display to the John Deere Operations Center, so you can track your progress and make adjustments anytime and anywhere. You also can set up prescriptions and work orders in the Operations Center and push them to the in-cab displays, helping you gain time. And when you activate AutoPath, your sprayer can go right to the same guidance lines used by your planter, regardless of your sprayer's boom width, so you can gain even more time. Remote diagnostics and new diagnostic trouble codes with descriptive text improve uptime and access to parts. And since these are connected machines, you can grant your dealer access to enable John Deere connected support. Your dealer can then receive alerts from your sprayer and fix a potential issue before it becomes a problem. When it comes to applying product, rest assured these sprayers address your 3 most important needs. A comfortable new cab, enhanced application quality, and more uptime, all so you can gain ground during tight application windows and in your operation. For more information, visit our website or talk with your local John Deere dealer.
So again, a little bit salesy there at the beginning to, kind of kick things off, but the video just sort of does a good job of baselining what we have going on, and I still have the video going. A little rock music now. All right, my apologies if you like that song. So, kind of the big three takeaways from that video, comfort obviously being, number one for those of you in the cab, but application quality and improved uptime, right? Those are sort of the biggest things that, we need to be aware of moving forward, especially in such a short time window. And a lot of that comes from the technology and functionality within the cab, as well as to the actual application. So when we start talking nozzles and ExactApply and everything along those lines. So when we look at the cabs and controls of the equipment, everything is done and housed directly from inside the cab. And there is a quick little blurb here from a colleague of mine who's going to break that down.
Once you step inside the upgraded Command View 3 cab on a 4 Series sprayer, the enhanced comfort and easy-to-use controls will be truly
There you go. If the video freezes, I don't mess around. We just move on. So if we go through and actually look at the cab, everything is housed directly from your right hand, right? So you have the ability to track your boom height, your speed. You set up everything in terms of your ExactApply. So you'll have all that going forward to make sure everything is in-housed and connected evenly. As a breakdown too, once again, everything is done and controlled. As some of you maybe who aren't familiar with these types of sprayers, it's beginning to look more and more like what you see inside of a combine, more than what you see in a traditional sprayers, just in terms of your traditional boom and tilt and work monitoring as we go through these different structures. So maintenance on these sprayers becomes a very key thing. And again, it's something that I wanted to make sure that I took just a few minutes to talk about today because, as mentioned in that opening video, the spray season and spraying window can be so short, right? And it's important that we go through and make sure we do everything we can to make sure sprayers, not just John Deere, all sprayers out there on the marketplace, we're going through and handling stuff as best as we can. So we highly recommend that cab filters are replaced annually, right? So that's something to keep in mind. We want to make sure that those are constantly replaced. Engine filters, of course, you replace those as required. That's something that you can usually figure out before winterization or if you bring it in for any work. Fuel filters, 500 hours, engine oil and filters every 250 hours. These hours may seem long, but of course we all know our sprayers, if they're making, anywhere between 2 to 3 to 4 passes across our farms throughout the season, these numbers add up quick. So it's important that we take care of this stuff in a timely manner. With these 4Rs as well, there's also the new suspension system that's built into it. So you really want to make sure you protect your suspension system, right? Because that's a huge bill that one maybe does not want to have on their farm. Maybe a shop might enjoy it, but definitely want to make sure that that's something that everyone is aware of when operating these pieces of equipment. Hydraulic and oil filters, of course, every 1,000 hours, pretty comparable to what we see in other pieces of large agriculture equipment. The pressure strainers and suction strainers, these of course are directly relevant to these 4R pieces, but again, we're checking this sort of stuff daily. And, this was kind of one thing here before we go into some updates and, some actual application-based information. This is really a daily checklist of maintenance that anyone operating any piece of equipment or any sprayer, no matter the year, no matter the model, even if it's one of the, old trike spray 3 coupes, right? Here's just a list of things that one should always be aware of as they're out there going through those long hours and making sure everything is handled. So with some significant upgrades that we've seen kind of over the last 2 years, specifically within sprayer technology, specific to these R4s, of course, the 1,600 gallon tank is becoming very key for us. All of it is built to be designed and get the most efficiency, right? So not only application efficiency, but of course, equipment efficiency. We've all aware of current fuel prices right now. Of course, not opening up a debate with a comment like that, but its efficiency is something we all need to be aware of. And we want to make sure the equipment going out is advancing to make sure that, 160 acres in one tank fill at 10 gallons per acre is something that we want to make sure that we're constantly achieving as the equipment becomes more and more involved. Same down here too, of course, booms are getting larger and larger as well. Anywhere from 90 to 132 foot booms is what we're dealing with, right? That's a lot of nozzles. That's a lot of stuff to cover and to be aware of as you're out there in the marketplace, or sorry, out there on the farmyard. So we need to make sure that everyone's aware how that works. And just like most things as well, as we see in this technology industry, anything involving equipment, camera ready technology, right, becoming more and more prevalent. So we have cameras all over the side of this thing, as you've seen in that first video as well. At nighttime, it lights up like a Christmas tree, right? And these are all key new features, but also designed there to be an important part of safety as well. The command drive here, again, something that I'm going to go through relatively quickly, just more information on that increased suspension base that we went in. Obviously, hitting on the points, long hours in the cab, long hours in the field. We want to make sure who's ever in there operating that machine is as comfortable as possible. Ashley, I know you asked in the chat if this is something we could get in some plot sprayers. I'll run it up the flagpole and see what we can do for you. But right now we're only going to stick to the R4s on that one. The way that you're able to do this through this command drive is, of course, because there's a new drive pump that's really heavy duty single axle that allows it to control the pump assembly more. We just have over and over and all more science, more technology have gone into the overall base for us to produce these kind of equipment, with the overall goal being to reduce fuel consumption by 20% and of course reduce cab noise, right? Those ringing in your ears gets to be really annoying, and of course the fuel becoming more and more important. So that's enough about the sprayer and the outline of the sprayer and the R4s and everything built upon it. You guys are here for a pesticide applicator course, so let's begin to talk a little bit more application, right? And sort of get a better understanding of what it is specifically we're doing at Deere, and how it's going to become prevalent with you as you go ahead and apply the information that you've learned here today. So we're going to go ahead and jump in to the next video here, specifically on ExactApply.
When you slow down and look at something in a different way, you can really change your perspective. In your spray operation, see what happens when your solution is broken down to its smallest parts. These are the very droplets that control the nagging weeds, pests, and diseases in your fields. But can these droplets themselves be better controlled? Is there a way to cover more of your crop with better precision, making sure every droplet does its job, even around tight corners? Can you get better consistency at all sprayer speed ranges so you can spray more acres in less time? Now you can, with the all-new ExactApply nozzle control system from John Deere. By offering you so much control of your droplets, it's perfect for the sprayer control freak. Here's a closer look. 6 nozzles of your choice arranged in pairs. ExactApply puts you in control. The automatic nozzle switching feature lets you switch between 2 pre-positioned nozzles on the go when conditions change. Here's a key difference with ExactApply. Compared to other nozzle systems with a pulse rate of just 10 times a second or 10 Hertz, ExactApply is 30 times a second or 30 Hertz. Triple the pulse width modulation rate. That means a more consistent droplet size from each nozzle, enabled by a more constant spray pressure. This expands the operating range of each nozzle over a range of spraying speeds. But how can you better control spray rates on turns? ExactApply automatically varies the rate across the entire boom to greatly reduce input costs and possible crop damage, while assuring the right spray rate even as you make a turn. You'll see a greater flow through each nozzle outlet too, up to 25% more compared to competitive nozzle control systems. This helps you retain the benefits of the nozzle control system and maintain spray speeds, even in high flow situations. With the individual nozzle control of ExactApply, you can save 2 to 5% on your herbicide or pesticide versus standard sectional control. You can control the output of each nozzle right down to the 15 or 20-inch nozzle spacing. ExactApply will even light your way at night or low light through individually lighted nozzles. You're in complete control of your spray application. Everything is totally integrated with exclusive John Deere technology, all from the command arm display. When you slow down and see your spray solution in its smallest parts, you really change your perspective. It's here where you see how each droplet is important to control weeds, pests, and diseases in your row crops. ExactApply can make sure every drop count with better precision, making sure every droplet does its job, even around tight corners, and deliver more consistent droplets at all sprayer speed ranges to help you spray more acres in less time. Ask your John Deere dealer for details on the all-new ExactApply nozzle control system.
So, competitive information aside and everything along those lines, the important part of the ExactApply thing and kind of the key takeaway is really the ability to adapt into any given situation, right? So as weather change, wind speed change, as terrain changes, the ability to go back and forth between two specific nozzles, maybe for different targets, is kind of what we're hoping to take away from this as an important piece of technology, right? It's instead of having that one constant nozzle that only works at a certain time, anything we can do to improve efficiency, to reduce drift, the technology's there and it's been tested, it's been proven. So, what are the benefits of something like ExactApply? Obviously we're decreasing overlap, right? That's something becoming very, very important. It's, every single application that we put down, every single droplet that goes down is going to affect, of course, your business's bottom line. So the ability to reduce that is important. Spraying at wider ranges, speed, and of course apply at a wider range rate as well. So, speed, I think we all still very much follow the Tom Wolfe school of nozzles of low and slow, right? That's always key, and that's what we want to do. We just sort of have the ability to potentially do more with this as well. Kind of mentioned in the video as well, pulsing versus conventional, right? So what's really the difference between the two? So with pulsing, when you spray and the rate is maintained, there's an alternating solution that goes back. So we either operate at 15 hertz or 30 hertz, right? So if we're applying and maybe we need to pick up our speed a little bit, it will jump back and forth to make sure that the nozzle is correctly applying for one of those specific hertz. The conventional side of things, that spray rate is maintained through the whole application, even very ground, proportion of the ground speed doesn't change it. ExactApply has the ability to do both. So it's not one or the other, right? You can either apply at the pulsation rate or you can apply just at conventional. Really within these two modes, there's multiple features kind of based within each one. And this is something, when you go in and do your application, within your Gen 4 extended monitor, this is where you would go ahead and set this sort of information up, right? And I have a really good chart here on the next slide that I'll show you here as well that will kind of summarize these words a lot better. But there's different spray modes, right? So if you're doing an A, you're going at that 15 hertz speed. If you're doing an A and a B, that's giving you the opportunity to alternate in between those two speeds as you go across the field. The automatic mode is basically pulsing's off and you're just spraying, right? So that's sort of your traditional standard spraying that you're going with. So as opposed to some text, let's actually look at some pictures and see how this is laid out. So In these two examples, you can see the ExactApply there on the left, and then in the middle, we sort of have our two different solenoids, right? So we have the A and the B solenoids. So if we're going through and we're doing a pulsation rate, so that's A plus B is what we're working with. A is your 15 hertz, so that's the red number 1 that you see at the top, and 4B is your 30 hertz. So as you're going up the field, say we're coming up a big hill and we need to pick it up a little bit, it will go back and forth between those A and B rates. If you want to change it, you just go ahead and grab the nozzle and turn it. And then 2 and 5 will work together, or 3 and 6. That's the overall differential there between the two. Now, the other side of things, the automatic side of things, is just the 4, 5, 6 forward. That means you're just running off one nozzle all the time, and that's sort of the conventional spraying where we're strictly going at that 30 hertz within your auto mode. So once again, as we go through this, there's multiple different positions that ExactApply can go through and do as well. I do have a guide I'm going to place here in the chat as we get towards the end of the presentation for everybody to look at, that really breaks this down if you're looking for some more reading material. But really, you know, a guide like this, we're looking at these 5 things labeled out before. So the combined conventional, so just the work of the solenoid, so a 1 and a 4 or a 5 working together on their own at 30 hertz compared to the 15 hertz where we're pulsating back to A and B. So once again, this is as you're going up the field, as conditions change, you have the ability to bounce back and forth between those specific ExactApply models. So let's actually see it in action here a little bit, as opposed to me explaining it. So I'm going to launch up one more video here that I'm going to jump ahead on. That will sort of allow you to see this stuff in real time.
Field outlining, changing speed, turn compensation, individual nozzle section control, increased coverage, and increased application. First, we will start with field outlining and nozzle A/B switching. As we go around the field, we could use a larger nozzle with larger droplets to decrease our pressure so we don't have any fines or drifting onto sensitive crops. Then as we get into the interior of the field, we could use a smaller nozzle with smaller droplets and for better coverage in the center where we don't have as many drift issues or potential. Next, we can go to changing speed. We can have it set up for A/B switching where at a lower speed, we're using a smaller nozzle, and as we speed up and the pressure increases, it switches to the next size larger nozzle on the B side. And then when we increase speed again, we can go with both A plus B at the same time to increase our gallonage and not compromise coverage or pressure during this period, and that's called A/B switching. The next thing we'll talk about is turn compensation with the pulsing to ensure an even spread pattern as we go around the corner. As we're turning, the inside nozzles will pulse slower so we don't over apply, and as we go around the corner, the outside nozzles pulse faster, so we're putting on more product as the outside boom is traveling faster than the inside. The next thing is individual nozzle control. Instead of 11 section nozzle control, we have each separate individual nozzle shuts on and off as we go through coverage, either an interior boundary, odd shaped fields with turn rows, or headlands that are at an angle. It'll shut off each individual nozzle to compensate for that and saving product. This video shows the difference in hertz. Our competitors use a 10 hertz nozzle, which is 10 pulses per second. John Deere uses 30 hertz, which is 15 hertz per each solenoid. That increases the coverage, so we have fewer skips in coverage. If you think of it as a blinker running with the shorter pulses in between, we don't have as much gap in coverage. Increased flow rate. This is an advantage to us as well, where the competition is only able to do a gallon a minute per nozzle. We're able to run 2.1 gallon per minute per nozzle, which will allow you to do up to 50 gallons per acre at 15 miles an hour, where our competition would not be able to do high gallons like that. If you have any questions about ExactApply, please contact your landmark dealership closest to you or a CTS that can explain all.
Or your Brandt or Western Tractor dealer closest to you as well. You know, aside from, once again, the competitor information there and breaking it down, the important thing, you know, to take away there is just ways to, you know, of course, increase that efficiency, right? You know, what we can do, you know, to make sure that we're getting the most out of every acre that we're applying. One thing, you know, through these presentations as well that I do like to show, because it comes up, is sometimes when people see one of the ExactApply nozzle holders, they think, well, you know, Brent, we just spent all this time talking about maintenance and cleaning. That thing's got to be pretty ugly to go out and clean and handle. And that's really not the case. So
in this video,
this is just sort of how the assembly
be sure to recognize safety
is all put together to let everyone know that, you know, something like this
torque tool
isn't that intimidating.
AKK 24179 with socket and base to remove the valve seat. Align the flats of the base and cartridge. Do not use pliers on the cartridge tube. This may cause the tube to become out of round. Use tool PT21225 to remove plunger. To reassemble the nozzle body, drop the spring into the plunger and insert into the cartridge. Press the plunger to ensure the spring is seated. Use the torque tool and base to torque the valve seat. The torque tool will click when tightened at correct torque. Insert the cartridge into the coil and reattach to the nozzle body. Insert the clip. Check the
Don't get too caught up on the tools. This is all stuff that you can get from Princess Auto for, you know, $4.99, right? So, but just, you know, there is some work and stuff that goes into it. And once again, you know, it's something that we have to make sure that we clean as we're doing different applications throughout the day. You know, as we go in and, you know, a few more things I want to share with you here today before maybe we open up some questions, you know, nozzles that are available kind of through the Deere format. Just wanted to give you, again, kind of a really simple baseline of kind of what's out there. So, you know, our straight streams and high flow. You know, there's kind of the primary applications that these two are associated with, but I like these images just because they show you what they actually look like when they're going down, right? So when someone says, you know, oh, what's a straight stream versus a high flow? You know, here's kind of a quick glance of what that actually looks like. If we look at, you know, low drift versus a 3D nozzle. And a low drift versus sort of the Guardian Air. So once again, I'm going to put a guide inside the chat here too before my presentation wraps up that everyone can have access to, and it breaks this down. And if you're, you know, really interested in the metadata that every single nozzle is associated with, you'd be able to have access to that as well. A big part of this too is based on the technology and kind of what we've had looped around with it. So, you know, one thing to showcase as well, if you're, you know, have questions about nozzles, or, you know, you're looking to get some different information, or you're trying to find out what's best for you. If you're a John Deere person, there's an application, an app called Equipment Plus. From there, you can go ahead and go to sprayers. And then if you look at the third image, in the bottom right corner, there's one there called Tools. If you click on Tools, you can actually go to Nozzle Select. So from there, you can kind of put in your sprayer information, your application rate, if you have any preference for droplet size, everything like that, and select Find My Product, and they'll actually come back and get that information to you. So that's available for free within the John Deere suite. So, definitely take advantage of it as well. Everything, of course, goes directly into the Operations Center too. Operations Center is also mobile use, so all your application maps. So if you're looking to track all your applications, your gallons per acres, your targets, did you have an area that you missed? You can even put in specific weather information as well as it's tied in. All that's available from the app-based system. And then, of course, some other key metrics that you can go through within the Operations Center as well. One new feature too that's popped up in the Operations Center that could be pretty important too if you're watching several users of sprayers or a large farm, or even if you're just looking at overall productivity. There is a functionality in there called Machine Analyzer, where you can break down everything from your fuel rates to your engine load factors, your ground speed. All that information is done and built in. So every single time that sprayer does anything, you have full access to that information. And that's all done, of course, through the JD Link Connect system on sprayers. JD Link is free. It's totally free to use to get that information done and put in, and just sort of gives you the ability to, manage these sprayers and your applications on a different level. And one thing as well, I always like to mention too, remote display access. So if you have someone out there doing an application and maybe you're in the office or you're wanting to talk with a dealer, or I'm out doing something and Jamie doesn't trust the thing that I do, she can hop in on RDA and actually look at the screen, take over the screen, and make sure everything is done and put in place. So again, sort of another really cool piece of technology that's available. So with that, going to kind of end this on a little bit of a funner note. It's always fun to see new technology as it comes out, it becomes available. So I'm going to end this here on one more video. John Deere is going to be rolling out their See and Spray technology for model year 23, late 23. That will have probably availability within Canada. And this is kind of the first look and breakdown of it and everything involved.
Hello, I'm Alea. Today, John Deere is introducing a high-tech machine that will help farmers revolutionize the way they manage weeds. It's all part of John Deere's efforts to equip farmers with equipment and technology that will help them gain improving yields, cost efficiency, and profitability, all so they can gain ground in their operation. The desire for environmentally sustainable practices often collides with protecting yields. But as a farmer, you're committed to protecting your crop, your land, and the environment. So how do you protect your crop in a way that's both profitable and sustainable? We believe the answer lies here, with a machine that will redefine spraying. A sprayer that can target weeds in a way that is both cost efficient and environmentally sound. And one that can help bring yields to their greatest potential. Meet See and Spray Ultimate, made exclusively for select John Deere 400 and 600 sprayers. These sprayers are equipped with in-season targeted spray technology that enables you to reduce non-residual herbicide use by more than 2/3 and has a hit rate comparable to traditional broadcast spraying. In addition, it's a versatile machine with a dual product solution system, allowing 2 independent tank mixes to be applied in one pass, avoiding the antagonism effect that occurs in more advanced tank mixes. Let's go to the lab and see what makes the See & Spray Ultimate the ultimate sprayer. Ryan, you're early. How'd you beat me here? Did you check the sprayer?
I did. You didn't see it parked out back?
Oh, no, I must have missed that. Well, let's talk about the See & Spray Ultimate and how it sees, targets, and kills weeds. To tell us more, I'd like to introduce Ryan Steen, Product Manager for See & Spray. So, Ryan, as I'm looking at these crop plants, I'm not seeing any weeds. What can we do about this?
Let's add some in. Let's add in some water hemp, kochia, Palmer amaranth, and horseweed.
How did you do that? Never mind.
So these weeds not only rob the crop of nutrients, of moisture, and of yield, but they're also incredibly difficult for farmers to get rid of.
So, how can a sprayer tell the difference between a crop plant and a weed?
See & Spray Ultimate uses proprietary camera technology that was developed by Blue River Technology, a subsidiary of John Deere. So it uses computer vision and machine learning to scan the field constantly for weeds from crop, and then sprays only the weed. So let's bring it to life. So as our 120-foot boom goes across the field, there are 36 cameras mounted on it. It's constantly collecting high-res images. Those images are sent to the graphics processing unit, which houses the machine learning model. Then that model determines if there's a weed present or not. If there's a weed present, we turn the spray on, and then we spray that weed. That all happens at 12 miles per hour. So we're looking at 2,000 square feet every second. This is what we call green-on-green detection.
Green-on-green detection.
Yeah, so instead of just looking for green and spraying green, we're looking for a specific trigger to spray. So if it's a crop, we're not going to spray. But if it's one of these weeds that were in the field earlier, we're actually picking out the specific plant that we want to spray, all in real time and in the blink of an eye.
All in the blink of an eye.
In the blink of an eye.
Wow, that's impressive. Let's go take a look at the boom. Guess I beat Ryan this time.
Sorry I'm late. Traffic's terrible out here.
Oh, okay. So, Ryan, tell us what makes the See & Spray Ultimate boom different from other booms.
So See & Spray Ultimate uses an all-new carbon fiber truss-style boom. It's stronger, it's lighter, and it's more durable than our current boom offerings. It also has the all-new industry-leading BoomTrack Ultimate.
How does that technology work?
So BoomTrack Ultimate uses sensors across the boom to detect changes in the terrain. It then automatically adjusts the boom height on the go to keep that height consistent. In fact, 95% of the time, we maintain a 10-inch band on the tip of the boom.
So accuracy means?
Accuracy means we're getting better images from the cameras on See & Spray Ultimate. That means better weed detection. It also means that consistent application height gives really consistent application to the weeds.
Boom! Indeed. As a farmer, you're focused on savings, performance, and most importantly, improving yields. See & Spray Ultimate with target spray technology and a dual product solution system shines in all 3 areas. So Ryan, how does the combination of target spray and a dual product solution work together to help keep costs down?
Yeah, so See & Spray Ultimate not only saves 2/3 of chemical volume, but the dual products portion allows farmers a ton of flexibility. What it lets them do is use 2 independent tank mixes to simultaneously broadcast and target spray weeds at the same time in the same pass. A common scenario farmers use is to broadcast a residual herbicide to prevent future weed growth, while target spraying weeds that have already emerged with a non-residual herbicide. They can also broadcast 2 solutions at the same time, or just target spray 1 solution on the go. So by being able to split those tank mixes into 2 separate product solution systems, they can actually get better weed control. It can allow them to add a chemistry in that doesn't necessarily mix well with another chemistry. So just like friends in politics don't mix, there's some chemistries that also don't mix well together in the tank.
So it's all about getting smarter, getting more efficient with your herbicide use.
That's right. And when we have two tank mixes, what we allow the farmer to do is to invest in modes of action and those tank mix approaches that will best allow them to maximize their weed control and then ultimately their yield.
More efficiently means cost efficiently. Sounds like a win-win for farmers.
Yeah, that cost efficiency is there. And there's also productivity efficiency. So we have this tank that was split. The same tank, when we combine the capacity together and we're using only 1/3 of the herbicide volume, we can go 3 times further on a single tank, getting more time in between fills and more time in the field actively spraying.
And is this just for herbicide? What about fungicide or fertilizer?
Yeah, so if we take that nozzle body and bring it up here quick, what we can see is that we can broadcast our fungicide, our fertilizer, or insecticide, and then we can also target spray herbicide. So what we're doing here is we're really taking 2 passes into one and giving, again, another way that a grower can optimize their weed control.
Wow, so it's all about getting smarter, getting more efficient with our herbicide use.
Absolutely, putting the right chemistry where it's needed and giving the farmer the power to choose.
It really is going to revolutionize the way farmers control weeds, isn't it?
It really is.
What's not to like about that? Sounds like a win-win. Let's talk data management.
Let's go.
Ryan, talk to us about how the See and Spray Ultimate takes in information and streams it to your operation.
So See and Spray Ultimate isn't done with just the job of application. It's also equipped with the JD-Link modem, which streams the application data, both machine and agronomic, to a customer's John Deere Operations Center. Operations Center features a number of data management and analysis tools. You can view maps of your fields to visually determine the amount of chemical savings achieved in a field, while also helping you make informed decisions regarding future applications. After all, the more you know, the more you can control.
In the end, healthier plants means better yields, right?
Correct. As See and Spray Ultimate moves through the field, it documents as-applied data for both broadcast and target spray. This information is available on the Operations Center in near real time. In addition to that documentation, it also documents weed pressure. This allows a comparison to be made between yield and weed pressure in the field for future decisions to be made.
As you said, the more you know, the more you can control. Thanks, Ryan. The stakes are high. It's all about protecting yields more cost efficiently through targeted use of herbicides. John Deere has been leading the industry in helping farmers apply herbicides more efficiently. What started out as traditional broadcast spraying evolved to zone spraying thanks to John Deere's section control and variable rate technologies. Now John Deere is narrowing that zone down to exactly where the weeds are. This advanced camera visualization and machine learning technology is just the beginning. And when you think about all the technology John Deere provides, it's really about helping farmers keep doing what they've always done, only better. We're excited about the launch of See and Spray Ultimate. For more information, visit johndeere.com, watch our videos on YouTube, or see your local John Deere dealer. Thanks for watching.
So corniness aside of some of the stuff in there, that's just some of the technology. Of course, that's coming down the pipeline. So I kind of really wanted to make sure I ended today as maybe something cool and different and unique to look on. That does it for me. That's all I had planned or ready here today. So I'll open it up to any questions that may be in the chat. That video I think came out on Monday. So I planned immediately to show it at the end. I didn't even tell Jamie I was going to show it, so hopefully she's not going to yell at me. But yeah, so definitely. Lee, what do we got here? In your opinion, under good conditions, i.e. 18 degrees Celsius, less than 10 kph per hour, what ground speed or nozzle pressure would be ideal to be target, generally speaking? Like I'm a firm believer in like 12 miles per hour is kind of the fastest that you want to go in any application at max. I've listened and seen too many Tom Wolfe presentations, as well as seen some of the ugly things on the other side in terms of drift and aversion of people going through and applicating too quickly that caused problems, ended up hurting them in the big more if they had just taken their time. So that's my thought process on that as someone who's not a CCA. Okay, what I'll do here then too before I forget, I do have a document I want to make sure I put in the chat for you guys. This is just the parts guide that lays out the information, especially on the nozzles that I mentioned earlier. So this is just a really good piece of information to have.
Brent, do you see the comment from Lee?
No, I clicked off, sorry.
That's okay. He's asking about nozzle pressure when wind or drift isn't a concern.
Like if you're still just going at that 15 hertz, I mean, it's pretty standard at this point. I know it said in the video, you know, competitors are at 10. That's not really the case anymore. Competitors are able to do 15 as well. But I think 15 hertz is still your standard pressure. Cool.
All righty. So I guess that wraps up. Brent, thank you very much for taking the time to share your knowledge with us.